inspiring conversation. I welcome you once again to the 2025 United Nations International Day of Families with enthusiasm and purpose. Thank you so much for listening in. Over to you, our host. I can't hear you. I think your mic is muted.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're all welcome once again. We're glad to have you here. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, but there are interferences behind it.
Actually, ladies and there. So we are all welcome once again to the United Nations International Family Days of Families, and with the theme family-oriented policies for sustainable development in Africa. As we all know that SDG's 2030 agenda is nearing its deadline. And as John has rightly said, we are going to be celebrating the roles of families in ensuring the sustainability. And it should not just be like an institutional thing, but it should be a sort of collective effort and intergenerational mission. And out of the 17 goals that were declared by United Nations, one is 9 targets were also the breakdown that family take a larger share of it. And why are we actually emphasizing on family role? In Africa, family structures are diverse, and yet in cultural and social system. So empowering families to be deliberate, inclusive policy frameworks is very, very vital and essential for achieving this sustainable development. If we go through the goals, especially the ones that are actually addressing human development, which actually is embedded in families. So we notice that there is eradication of poverty. Let's take Nigeria as a case study. You can see what is going on in the families now. Poverty rate is actually alarming, where it is difficult for so many families to take 3 meals in a day. And concerning quality education for all, this is actually achieved in Africa. Then everything that is centered around education is well addressed. And literacy problems that are being aggravated, that are coming up via illiteracy will actually be minimized. And these are centered around family. Do you talk address, check how we have this in the family? And we notice that family is at the center of every society. Just like, father is the head of the family. If the father is performing his role appropriately, accurately, and adequately, that family will actually stand. And there is a sort of bond that is going to exist in the family. So society, if society center the policies, and even the United Nations, as they have centered these policies around families, and if these are actualized, then we know that we have a strong family which they and the society also will be at peace. So this evening we have invited seasoned and renowned panelists that are going to be deliberating on these family policies, how these roles are going to be actualized, and what becomes of the families if venture these sustainable policies are not in place in 2030. So I'm going to be introducing them one after the other. We have three of them. I have Anu Oluwapo. I have Victoria Olujimi, and I have Professor Grace Adezuru. So Anu Oluwapo Omolafe,
My name is Anu.
hello,
Omolafe. Yes.
can you hear me?
Please, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can. Yes, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. Please,
Hello,
can
can you hear
anybody
me,
hear me
please?
back?
Yes,
I
we
can hear
hear
you.
you.
Yes, I
Yes,
can hear
I
you.
think there's a bit of lag because of the internet,
Okay,
but we
thank
can
you
I
all
can
very
hear
hear
much.
you.
you.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Anonwako Omolafe is a graduate of the University of the Garden, where she earned a degree in geography. She has 1 year of professional experience as a GIS analyst, as a geospatial techniques to support data analysis and field operation. In addition to her technical expertise, she has actively engaged in writing for 3 years, producing content across various niches, including academic writing, cryptocurrency, and general content development. She's currently preparing for a master's degree in geoinformation science to advance our knowledge and contribute meaningfully to the geospatial field. She welcome Anu Oluwapo on the then with me also here is
Thank you so
Victoria.
much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Victoria Atineke Olujimi. Victoria is a doctoral candidate of sociology at the University of Ibadan. She focuses on female artisan trading in Southwest Nigeria, exploring women's mobility market strategies and informal network in economic development in international wealth transfer. As an Erasmus PhD visiting scholar in 2024, our research spans human livelihood, gender, and economic growth in Africa. Using qualitative, quantitative, and ethnographic methods since 2016, she has lectured in TOPS, Shaki, and served as an teacher at Ibadan Distance Learning Center. Currently, Victoria consults for Youth Writing Nigeria and has collaborated with NGOs and institutions like World Bank. Victoria holds a fellowship and mentorship from IFRA, that is IFRA, with IAS, CAS, and Image Initiative. And I have with me the last panelist, who is Professor Adejuro. Professor Grace Adejuro is a professor specializing in psychological health and well-being. With research spanning over 2 decades, she focused on developmental lifespan prosperity. As a lifespan developmental psychologist, our research examines psychological health and well-being from infancy through old age. She's the founder and CEO of Conformity Care Foundation. Help me make welcome Victoria Atineke Olujimi and Professor Grace Adejuro. You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The video is trying to boot. It will come up. I've switched it on, and I think it's trying to come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Please, let me reintroduce Professor Adejuro. Please permit me. She's my supervisor, and she's a lover of all. She's a mother. She's so kind, so nice, and everybody loves her. She loves to see everybody thrive, growing and developing. Professor Adejuwon, what you have actually embedded in me is thriving. I must confess. Everybody, please help me to welcome Prof once again. She's a good mentor. She's so loved by her, and the University of Ibadan, the Department of Psychology, really recognizes her for good works in psychology department. Welcome once again, Mommy. I'm glad to have you
Thank
here.
you so much. I'm so happy to be
You're welcome.
here today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I hope this video comes up. I don't know what is happening. This internet thing, I don't know, but
Okay.
it's
No
10
problem,
a.m. here in Canada, and I don't think it's the internet here, but I don't know what is happening. The video is on, but it's not coming up.
Okay.
So, but
No problem, no
yeah.
problem.
So,
good to go. So, my questions, we go to each of you. I will start by asking questions about these family-oriented policies and how you think the roles of family can be played in ensuring this sustainability comes to reality. So the first question goes to Anu Oluwapo Omolafe. So I'm going to ask you, with your background in geography, how do you think strong family units contribute to building sustainable communities? And in what ways can their everyday actions directly support the achievement of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? Just like we have mentioned, if the family is strong, then the society will be very strong. So what do you think are the contributions of families in building sustainable communities? And especially in Africa, of course, family is very strong in Africa. We are so much dwell in our culture, which delves into the societal roles, norms, and values, and all. What do you think are the actions that we can put up as families that would directly support the achievement of this 2030 agenda, which we actually ensure sustainable development?
Thank you so much, Ma, for the question. I would say
You're
from
welcome.
my background as a geographer, families shape community dynamics, and most of the time they influence consumption patterns and they drive local participation. When families practice sustainable habits, like let's say waste reduction, water conservation, and responsible consumption, they not only reduce environmental strain, but they also model behavior that ripples through neighborhoods. So I would say the family is one strong unit that helps to shape with any environment they find themselves. Like I would take, for instance, small family units in, let's say, in a particular community. Once they're able to train their children that, okay, this is what is acceptable in this community and this is what we should do, it helps to breed much more better, it helps to breed better people, helps to breed the community, and it helps in the long run in achieving better things in the community. And moreover, families are critical in achieving the sustainable development goals, especially, for instance, SDG 1, which is no poverty, SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 4, quality education. Everyday actions such as prioritizing education, where we have families that prioritize education, it helps to breed better people in the community that shapes the environment in the long run. And it also supports in gender equality at home. When there's gender equality at home or cultivating food locally, it helps to manage zero hunger, for instance, in SDG 2. This helps in contributing significantly. And we also have the nurturing environment of a strong family unit fosters responsible citizens who are more likely to engage in civic activities and community-driven sustainability efforts. So I would say family units are a pivotal, they are pivotal to environmental growth, pivotal to sustainability in the long run. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you very much. That is a beautiful one. If you have a better family, then you have better environments. My second question goes to Victoria. Based on your experience and extensive research on entrepreneurship, what aspects of entrepreneurship should African youths focus on, particularly as related to the 2030 agenda? Part of the agenda is providing over 100 million employment. So what do you think, because at least you are vast in this area, what do you think will happen? What aspect of entrepreneurship do you think African youth focus on? Particularly, everybody should equip him or herself on one thing or the other that will sustain him or her. What do you feel that entrepreneurship should the place it should take in African youth?
Thank you so much, Dr. Olusegun. Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening. For me, I think for African youths, entrepreneurship should go beyond the hustle spirit, like hustle, to something that is well structured and well detailed. So most of my researches are in the informal sector. And the informal sector in Nigeria now, in quotes, when you hear about the informal sector, you will think it's a disorganized sector. You think there are no rules and regulations. But contrary to what a layman can think, not people that are researchers or people that are vast in that field, the informal sector in Nigeria now is a very organized sector. We discovered that in the marketplaces, there are sections, there are departments, they have different people handling different things in the marketplace. There is no overlapping in the activities. If you violate the rules, you will be sanctioned for it. That is how the marketplace works and the informal trade generally. So when we have something that is very viable, that is sustainable like this, what can the youth do? So for me, I will advise that the youth should focus on agribusiness value chains and also for digital entrepreneurship. We discover that this formal sector contributes much more to the economy, to the GDP in Nigeria and Africa generally. So, but most of the people that are there are illiterate. So by the time youth, with their own education, they can get engaged into this informal sector, in getting involved there through digital entrepreneurship and leveraging technology, I believe it will go much more beyond what you are saying now. And also looking at today's International Day of Families that we are celebrating. Like Dr. Olusegun has mentioned in our introduction, our family is very important. My research into female itinerant trading, these women, they deal with the sales of agricultural produce. They sell goods, they transact with different people all over the world, even beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa and the whole world. And when we look at how they go about their business, how they started their business, it is intergenerational transfer of wealth. They transfer their wealth were transferred to them by their progenitors. The entrepreneurship, how they got their training, when you ask them, for almost all of them, is either I was introduced to this by my mom, by my great-grandmother, this is what we do in our family. They try and entrench this entrepreneurship spirit into their children. So to make it sustainable, to allow continuity while they are doing this. So for this kind of system that is very viable, so the youth must try as much as possible to look into it. And how can this contribute to the sustainable development? The first sustainable development goal, no poverty. The second one, zero hunger. In my research into female itinerant trading in the marketplace, I discovered that my research is recent, it's just in 2024. So in the marketplace, while I was going for my research, I think that, okay, when I asked for reasons, what motivated them into the trade, there's all source of income or family support and this. But for majority of them, I can say 100%, they were talking about the fact that there will be food. They know that this business they are involved in, if they don't have anything, they will have food to eat. And apart from my qualitative research, getting that from them, I was also involved in participants observation. So during the participants observation, I discovered that beggars come into the marketplace. And when they come into the marketplace, they don't give them money. They don't even ask for money. They basically ask for food. So they go from one store to the other to be collecting food. Maybe it's corn they want now. They'll collect maybe just a handful from this store, move to the next store, collect another handful of corn. Then by the time I leave the market in the evening, I discover that those beggars, there are lots, they will go home carrying sacks of food store. So that is to show the extent to which this trade is viable. For them to even say, oh, they can provide source of income for themselves, and then food is not their problem, and food is something they can even give out despite the fact that the economy is very bad. So what I would say in engaging policies is that we should try as much as possible to move from subsistence entrepreneurship, because for these women, they might just be doing it for survival. So they need access to credit. They need other support to try as much as possible to be viable and to make their business large and not on the surface level, so that they will be able to meet the needs of the society. There will be economic growth when the government support them. And as they contribute to the GDP, they will contribute much more. And my advice is that for the youth to try and look into how to bridge the gap between these people, for them to be sending their goods globally. So by the time the youth are involved, it will be much more easier for them to do their business, and to go on with their daily transactions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful one. So youths are actually listening, and I believe this will go global, that our youth will have the mentality of delving into agri. At least, food contributes to a larger part of GDP of every country. And I believe if they actually diverse their resources on this, it will go a long way. And governments will hear about this. Policies will be made in that regard, in that respect, that will actually provide loans for them to encourage them to actually embark on any maybe agric work or anything they want to do. That is a beautiful one. Then the next question goes to Professor Grace Adejuwo. Ma, as you've watched families evolve over the years, what psychological challenges do you think policymakers often miss, and how we can make sure they are considered in social programming? As part of the SDG agenda, they said combating diseases, eradicating maybe mental health challenges among children and adolescents. How do you think this can be streamlined in making this SDG goal a reality, especially in the family? At times when you talk about mental health, people will be like, oh, show Yahweh, oh, so something is wrong. Is it a spiritual problem? And there could be hidden facts that is running in the family psychologically that can still be incorporated in this social programming, and that will actually help the families within our societies. So over to you, Ma. Can you please suggest ways or the challenges you think they miss and that could be embedded in the policies? Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so very much for this question. And if not for time, I would have given three examples. I will still try to quickly give 3 examples to illustrate what my own observation. When I was 5, I woke up one morning and my eyes were fixed together. I was trying to open my eyes. And as soon as I stepped out into the sitting room, I met one of my paternal grandmother, saw my eyes. I was 5 years old. So she carried me, took me to the backyard, and my paternal grandmother followed her. And the maternal grandmother laid me on her legs, and then the other grandmother. I'm 73 now. I can still remember very well because I enjoyed it. I was pampered. Hold water, and they washed my eyes. Okay? So that is, I will come to that later. And later, when I lost my father at 9, we had to move to the village, and I started schooling. And all through the village, when you are going to school in the morning, you will see, you will have, you as a small child, or whatever your age is, you have to say good morning to everyone, including somebody sitting in front of his or her house. You will be courtesying as you are leaving your house and you are meeting them one by one. I don't know whether any one of us has the experience of misbehaving in another street, and somebody knows your mom, sees you and corrects you, and then when your mom comes, the correction continues. Okay? So we find that what I've seen about all these policies, which are very, very good, they are very good. There is nothing wrong with putting down, you know, how we should mitigate against poverty, how people should live in good health. But I see a lot of contradictions. Like the Bible says, this is new wine being put in an old wine skin, in which case both the old and the new will burst, and there will be a wastage. That is what is happening now. All these policies, they are foreign policies. We in Africa, we have our own culture. We know how we raise our children. When I was small in the village, when a farmer goes to the farm and he thinks he wants to sell his banana or plantain, he will cut it and place it by the roadside and use 3 pieces of stone or something to indicate how much he wants to sell it. The buyer comes by, takes the plantain, pulls the money and goes away. When the farmer comes in the afternoon or in the evening, he picks his money and goes away. So people were not stealing. We had our own culture. People got married and they were virgins, and it was not a taboo. Okay? Now, if you are married now and you are a virgin, you are like a strange person. So the same United Nations that, you know, roll out all these our head of states go there also. But to what extent they make these decisions, these declarations, and we are to domesticate them. And when we come back, we want to domesticate all these agreements. To what extent is our representative even domesticated himself? The person who is representing Nigeria, for example, how is his own family? How is his own family? So when you have somebody who is mismanaging his own family, representing a whole country, just know that everything will be a sham. So what we are having is that our policies are not participatory enough. We are not carrying the users of these policies along. So when we come back with these declarations, we have left so many things untouched. Our culture is not taken into cognizance. The psychology of the home is not taken into cognizance. Like I told you about my experience, in those days, we have the extended family system, in which case the young woman who gives birth to a child, in fact, before you get married, I think it is still practiced in the Igbo culture till today, they do searching. They want to search, where is my daughter taking a wife from? Where is my daughter taking a husband from? Today, it is not like that. This ensures the stability of the home. Today, we meet each other by the roadside, in the clubs, and then we get married. And then you get married to a man who was pampered from when he was baby and has become psychologically a dependent adult. Okay? So he now picks a wife who he thinks can serve. And when this woman is tired of serving, the marriages break down. The marriage will break down. And that is why we have high increase in the rate of divorce, scattered homes, disorganized families. And then the UN also supports abortion. So that is why this thing brings a lot of confusion. You support abortion, so why should I abort? In our own culture, we do not support abortion. But now, abortion is a big matter that is celebrated and encouraged anywhere, all over. And I don't know, because I have 4 daughters, and I knew how they were raised, that in those days, now you cannot just go and get pregnant. You don't want a pregnancy, you are pregnant. It doesn't happen. That was our culture. But technology came, internet came, media and everything. They are good. But you see, we are putting new wine, new ideas into the old culture and way of life that is not carried, they are not carried along. Like, I would expect any policy that will be effective. The policy data, researchers should go to the people, ask them, you want to carry out a research about Ibadan North people, go to the chairman of Ibadan North local government, go to the, do a meeting with the baales of the different families, and then ask them, what is the problem with families in this area? And when you structure your research, you will be addressing the problem of the Ibadan North people. But what do we find today? We sit in our offices, we craft out a research title, we carry it out, and even we don't give feedback to the people. So a policy that is based on such data, how effective will it be? How effective will it be? It is not participatory. It is not what the people want. The people were already existing before these policies came. They already had their own policies. Now we bring new something and we want to, in fact, there are so many problems. And then, how effective are we enforcing these policies? How effective? How effective? So we have problem with the fact that the policies are not participatory. We have problems with the fact, first of all, we have problem with how we choose our partners. This is the beginning of the family. We have problem. We have problems with that. So when the family comes together, the man and the woman, and they are not compatible, the family is not going to be stable. Because research has shown that children raised from stable families, they finally will contribute significantly to sustainable development. But when 2 wrong people come together and get married, then the family will be disorganized, the children will be affected, and the whole thing will calm down. No policy is looking into that. Secondly, the policies are not participatory. Our culture, what we were practicing before, we are jettisoning it. We put it aside and bring foreign Western ideas, which is not working for us. We are wearing their clothes, we are putting on their makeup, we are wearing their wig, but we are not them now. We are not Oyinbo. We are Africans, and we have our own things that used to work for us. We can adjust, no problem. So I see a lot of lapses in that. And I see also a problem with our implementation. It doesn't end with attending United Nations meeting and signing the treaty and making effort to domesticate it. It doesn't, everything is just not working right. So except we look into these aspects, making the database to be participatory, let the people who on whose behalf we are forming this policy, let them own the data, let them own the research, let them be part of the decision making, so that when the head of state is representing us at the United Nations, he is aware of what works in his own country. I think I've said too much already.
Thank you very much, Ma. That's so detailed, and you really digged deep into our culture. Thank you very much, Ma. Yes, the policies are not participatory, and they are not African culture compliant. Yeah, in the news I listened to, the summit that was held in 2015, I realized that Mr. Usman, that actually represented Nigeria, he was talking about education for all, talking about societal development, about corruption, and also I was actually expecting him to mention the cross of the problem of Nigeria, especially Nigerian youth. You know, just like Professor has really addressed. I was expecting an evidence-based result that, okay, this is the research that was conducted, this is the problem that we are facing in Nigeria that is actually thriving. You know, just like she said, we need to actualize what is really affecting us and incorporate them in these policies. And my thoughts and my concerns are, peradventure these ones are not put in place, then we as families should come up and come out to actually implement all this on our own, at our own local level. Like I used to tell my students, yes, you are saying this, you are saying that. Governments might not actually respond to your request, but at your local level, in your environment, wherever you find yourself, you can actually do something. Thank you very much, Ma. That's a very beautiful response, and we hope to make use of them. So another question goes to Anu Oluwapo Omolafe. And at this juncture, I actually want you to spend like just 2 minutes on the question that is pushed to each of you. Thank you very much for abiding to this. Anu Oluwapo, it is important for young voices like yours to be better integrated into family policy design to reflect the needs of modern families. And with reference to African countries, what policies do you think we should focus on or integrate? You know, young voices like your own. I believe, you know, that is why, you know, it's a cross ideas that we are actually implementing here. You are still coming up. So what do you think policies, what kind of policy or policies do you think can be integrated into family policies design as a young voice, you know, to reflect the needs of modern families, just like Professor said? What do you think can be embedded in these policies? Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ma, for the opportunity to speak once again. I would say one policy I feel should be implemented as a young person is digital literacy programs, and not just digital literacy where we have to, like, in schools where they have to like write it. Instead, there should be like a much more better, because we are currently in a stage where we have to like evolve as people in Africa. And without digital literacy, without like a very like good digital literacy program, without very good digital literacy, not just theories. Most of the things we see in schools now in African communities are just theories. They are not majorly like teaching them what digital literacy is basically. So I'll say that's one. Then another one I would say is mental health and family wellness programs. Yes, it should start from very little, like from children, like very, very young children, very young children in schools. That should be taught. And also in families too, like families should pay more attention to their kids, their needs, and those kind of things too. And to train them better, because most of the time we get to like meet with I've been in environments where I meet with adults that are probably going through one thing or the other, and they can't easily like tell their family about it. I think this is something that this is a particular policy that they should actually pay attention to, so that we have much more better people with much better well-being, like much mental mental well-being, like well-being. Yes, ma'am. Those are the two things I think should be implemented.
Yes.
Thank
you very much. It's a global village now. The world is turning to a global village. Everything has been digitalized, so there should be digital education incorporated, and also mental health advocacy should be put in place. It's not funny that going around schools, some of these students will be telling you that they don't even know what mental health is. If you are having a mental health challenge, I said it in a passing while I was having the opening remarks that, some people will be like, oh, you get. They don't know that mental health is just like your physical health. If you are not stable mentally, then it's just like you have physical health challenge. So it's not that something that is outside the context. So there should be awareness for this. That is very beautiful. Thank you very much for that. It is very, very germane to know that. Then my second question goes to Victoria. Yes. Your research on work-life balance are remarkable. Yes, I've seen that. What does work-life balance mean to informal workers? You have worked among them, especially itinerant traders. And how do you emphasize technology helping to bridge family life and spatial temporalities of informal labor? You have worked so much on this. How do you think work-life balance will be helpful to informal workers? You've worked among entrepreneurs and all. So, and how do you emphasize technology can help family life in these spatial temporalities of informal labor? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much again, host. In the informal sector in Nigeria, I would say that work-life balance for them is not about 9 to 5. We know that the formal sector, they always complain 9 to 5, this 9 to 5, that 9 to 5. But in the informal sector, it's not about 9 to 5, but it's about sunrise to survival. Like from morning till, not even till night, till any time they keep working. They keep working, considering those women that I have worked with. So they traveled for this, they leave their families, they travel for this, they travel. And these women, they are in their reproductive years, they are in their reproductive ages. They have husbands. And then like we have said that those policies, they don't look into the practicality and the dynamics of the African society. For these women, or for people in the informal sector, women majorly, that have to travel long distance, they have to go to their work from morning till evening. Sometimes when they travel, they have to sleep on the road and then face a lot of precarity. How do they balance their work with life? So one thing about it is that the social embeddedness involved in these economic activities, like we know that it depends on the relationship, family relationship, social relationship that they have. So while they are away, what do? So they tend to give their children, the family, to their co-wives or relatives most times. So when we are talking about policies that can be used to address, when we now say something like, okay, maybe you should create crèche for them or something, you definitely know that that is not going to work in an African society. So it's for this kind of women. So we'll be able to look at the practicalities and what these women really need. So trying to involve technology into this, these women as much as we say they are illiterate, they can still make use of their phones. So they can make use of their phones to do transaction. Most times they say, well, when they're at home, they make use of their phone. But the reason why they have to work from sunrise to survival, work all day, is because that they have not developed as much as possible, no access to credit, there's no financial education. When you ask them, what are the ways in which you save money? How do you save money if you need money for your business? They say they just buy goods, they keep it in bulk, they save it, and then sell them. But by the time there's financial literacy, financial education given to them, all these fintech hub given to them, they know how to save their money, even they don't know how to do it. So they are guided about how to do it. So they may not be able to work all the hours. They will have time where they will be able to rest. So as opposed to the formal sector where they go on leave or they have maternity leave, this does not happen in the informal sector. So for this not to happen, they need to be supported through technology, introduce technology to them. And apart from we can say they are illiterate, they can only use, so at least when some people want to transfer, they can make use of the USSD. So there are some things that can be embedded into technology that will make their work to be faster. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. That's an insightful one. Yes, I can remember one of my customers. Anytime I buy something from her, she would say, "Hey, I don't have bank you. I don't have bank you." I say, "I want to transfer." See, go and open an account so that I should be able to transact. I think they need more information and they also need awareness. So thank you very much for this. Yes, because they don't regulate their time. Most times they go out around 5 a.m. and they return around 9 or 10 p.m. So I think this should be fathomed in the policies that, okay, these people, let them be educated, let them get the awareness that they need to rest so that they will balance. You know, most of these parents, most of them, they don't know their children. They don't used to see them. They'll say, "Where is your mommy? She has gone out since morning. I did not see her. And when she comes back at night, I did not see her. I just dressed up. I went to school." You get? So I think there should be more awareness concerning the phone you talked about. Yes, if they are making use of their phone, they will get messages on maybe different loans, opportunities that could be available for them to sustain them and even to sustain their markets or businesses. That's a very beautiful one. Thank you very much, Victoria. So my next question goes to Professor Adejuwon. Ma, you have done amazing work on mental health rehabilitation in families. How do you think we can make mental health education and resources a bigger part of national family policies, especially with the 2030 agenda looming? It's fast approaching. And what role do you see young people play in this? You know, how can we make mental health education resources a bigger part of national family policies? Just like we have been mentioning, you know, most times people don't recognize this. How do you think we can incorporate this in family policies? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, mental health is a global issue. And we all know that everybody has a need to be mentally healthy. And like we said, for me, the beginning, everyone, it's a multidimensional approach that should work. The multidimensional approach means that at the beginning of family, that is very important to me. Two people coming together to form a family, that is where we get this problem comes from that particular foundation. And you know, people go into the churches, do counseling, and a lot of churches have created very terrible problems for families. Because even the pastor is not equipped enough to give enough information to these people who are getting married. So when wrong information is provided, then they come together and then there's problem. So for us to address this issue, like I've said before, we need to use multi-level approach. At the local level, there should be, we usually talk about advocacy, but who is doing the advocacy now? Maybe you and I and any other person who may be interested, because at the grassroots level, this is where we need this information. We need this education about mental health. We need it at the university level, where people believe that if they are in final year, they must get engaged. You are engaged to the wrong person. The person will make you unhappy, but you are just desperate. I used to ask them in those days, course which cycle, what is this to get engaged in final year? What cycle, what is that? What is the course, the course code of get engaged in final year? Because it's just crazy. If you miss getting engaged in final year, then the race continues in youth service. And because of the people just mismatch. And then we have problem. So we need at camp, NYC, orientation camp, we need that education. Because they are living together there, they meet at the camp, they move together into their primary, they are sleeping together, and then somebody gets pregnant, and very horrible stories that we hear. So at this level, multi-level approach, at the grassroots level, at church level, the mosques, the institutions, we need to fill our society with what works. And then the researchers also should engage in participatory research, which will form database for policy. If we engage in participatory research, which engage the people, then we are going to produce a data that is useful for the people. And therefore, we will be enhancing the mental health. Like, for example, I know that narcissistic personality is very, very terrible. And nobody, we are drug use among youth affect mental health. We have a lot of narcissists, both men and women getting married. And narcissism is a mental health issue. And nobody is addressing it. Because psychology is new, so to say. It's just that we are making noise now because we now know that we need psychology, because medicine is not doing it all. Sociology is doing part of it. But psychology is also required to enable us to understand why people do what they do. That will enhance the mental well-being of people at the grassroots level, at each of these levels that I've mentioned, at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, and then finally it will affect the policy. I was local inspector of education implementing the education policy for the state. And I knew what I went through. In fact, I left that job out of frustration. I left the local education inspector job to come to UI and start a fresh degree in psychology. Because I was frustrated as local inspector of education who is supposed to be implementing the education policy at the local level. Because there is no way you could just do that. Some schools were not, before I got to that state, to that local government, some schools have not been inspected for 20, 15 years. I was taking Okada to inspect schools. So, and I was just, when I go to some schools, I will just be down. I will be unhappy for the next 3 days, knowing that these children are just being gathered together for, I don't know, the teachers will not come to school because the place is far. So we have a lot of problems that we are not addressing. So it is beyond sustainable development declaration made somewhere that we are bringing to our country. It's beyond that. So we need to address our own problems from the root to the federal level. And then we now, the person representing us at the United Nations, we go with the relevant information that is useful for us. Our mental health is very important, and we have not, we are doing very little about that. I know a lot about that because some of these drugs that are prescribed in the hospital for mentally ill people, they are not used abroad anymore, but they are used in our system. They have terrible, terrible side effects, but they are cheap. So a lot of multi-dimensional and multi-level effort is needed before we can address the issue of mental health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. That's a deep one. It's a beautiful one too. Yes, just like garbage in, garbage out. And you said we need a multi-level approach. It is like sociologists would say, family is the first agent of socialization. You know, from what happens in the family is what would dictate what will happen to the society. I believe families too can take up this in creating mental health awareness among their members. Just like you said, counselors in the church, what do they know that they want to teach those that want to get married? It is what they know now. Just like students that we are teaching nowadays. You just notice that even their parents are not aware of so many things. They don't have knowledge of so many things. So from grassroots, just like Professor said, let's take it up from there. It could be at the local level, at the state level, the federal level, wherever you are, just take it up. We might be waiting for government. My own is, don't let us wait for government, because Prof said some people are making policies somewhere that is not actually related to what is going on in our own community or society. So wherever we are, family is the bedrock of every policy made in the society. And whatever family dictates, it's what society we actually embrace. So let's start from where we are, from the grassroots. By the time we collaborate, we have collaborative efforts to ensure this, then mental health will be known all over. Thank you very much, Ma. And at this moment, I think my video will be off a bit because my laptop is going off. Okay. The next question goes to Anu Oluwapo, a geographer. So I would like to ask you, reflecting on
hello,
your
Dr. Bishop. Dr. Bishop, can you hear me, Ma? Yeah, Anu Oluwapo is not.
Is how? Hello, Dr. Toby. Please, everybody, can you hear me?
I can hear him again too, but we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear Dr. Toby any longer.
I think she's not available. That was what he was about to say.
Available. Okay. That means I will need to move to Victoria. Yeah. Victoria, are you still here? All right.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Okay. If you have the opportunity of influencing family-related policies towards the 2020 agenda, what are the two major things that you think you prioritize based on your researches, based on your interaction with all those entrepreneurs, based on your interactions with women? just like the important aspect that you addressed the other time, what are the two major things that you think will really address families and that you will prioritize in the policies? Thank you very much.
Okay, I think there is a social protection policy in Nigeria, but the social protection policy law in Nigeria is basically for people in the corporate world, informal sector. So for me, if I would advise about policies that should be institutionalized, I would say that there should be policy tailored towards the informal sector as well. For instance, now health insurance, these people in the informal sector, they face a lot of problems, they face a lot of challenges. They don't even have time for their health. They break down even without knowing, and then there is no benefit for them. So looking at the aspect of health insurance, we have people in the formal sector that they have NHIS, even as small as it may be. Even the local governments can even do that. So these people in the informal sector, they should try and stretch forth that hand to them as well, so that they'll be able to benefit from it as well. And also, I would say that in the informal sector, the way we look at it, you think like it's informal, it's unorganized. There's on-the-job training in informal sector. So there's on-the-job training in informal sector. So if we institutionalize apprenticeship skills and then indigenous knowledge, if it is transferred to formal education, it will go a long way in trying to make sure that all these policies are institutionalized. And it's not about this SAID, like skill acquisition programs in NYC that is being done without monitoring and evaluation. It's just like the way Prof has said about participatory research, that these people should be involved. So when there's a research, when we go for research, I also want to talk about dissemination. So a research without dissemination is incomplete if there's a research and there's no dissemination. And dissemination goes beyond publishing in papers alone or publishing articles. So there can be stakeholders workshop where you will meet stakeholders in that particular research that, okay, what do you want? As families, we want to involve them. So what do you want? What do you think we can do to ensure that people benefit from all these policies? And then my own experience working in a political party, I will learn policies before policy. We are always encouraged to learn policies before politics. If people in the helms of affairs, in governance, if they understand that we learn policies before politics and not just that, oh, just be opposition party as just be embezzling money or anything. So if they know that we learn policies, they try as much as possible to create policy-informed options for people in this sector. So then looking at the lived realities of these people, like what do they want? They travel. Do they want to leave their children behind? Because these people at times, they tend to make use of caregivers. So they use caregivers even while on their daily activities or when they go to those villages. So I've seen people that, okay, when they are going, they will try as much as possible to recruit caregivers that will help them to take care of their children while they are there in those villages because their families are not there. So if there is a credit that can be given to them to try and support them, because they definitely give money to those people that they use as well. So I think government should look into this in national social protection policies, include all this into it so that people in informal sector will also benefit from it as well. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That's a very beautiful one. It's so detailed. Yes. I remember when I had my research, my master's research, she said, okay, you went to conduct a research on internally displaced adolescents. Go back and give them the feedback. You know, by the time I went back, I reported to the school management and to the administrators, you know, and to the adolescents that were involved. Okay, it means religiosity, influence, whatever mental health issues they have, you know, it's actually good to give feedback, just like Professor Tu mentioned. And what you have actually suggested is very, very germane and it's vital. If this could be incorporated in our policies, I believe it will go a long way, especially in informal sector. We should consider them. And we should not be saying everything should be formal. Is it everybody that is in the formal sector? No. So that is why this is very, very important. Thank you very much once again, Victoria. Then my question now goes to Professor. Ma, I will ask that we've all heard that financial stress can impact family decisions. Do you think money worries are holding young people back from getting married or having kids? And then how can counselors and public health messages help alleviate this concerns? You know, what is going on in our schools now? Students will tell you they don't want to get married. You ask why, they will say, no, we just don't want to get married. Ma, is it really this poverty issue? Is it financial stress that is debarring them from getting married? They will say they want to be on their own. So what do you think, Ma, that how do you think financial stress can impact family decisions? And do you think money worries is part of what is holding young people back from getting married or having kids? Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you so much for that question. We are all aware of what is going on in our country right now, that suddenly we have money rituals all over the place. The other time, a guy and his gang were arrested because, and when they got them arrested, they found something like a small coffin in his room. And in that coffin, they found the eyes, 4 eyes inside the coffin, the eyes of his mother and the eyes of his father inside the small. He is the leader of the group. He watched his colleagues, his team, removed the eyes of his parents just for money. So we, because we stop laying emphasis on what used to work in our culture, parents lost that. We imbibed we threw away the impact of the old generation. The new generation now, majority have itchy ears, except those of us who had interacted with grandmas and all that. I know what I do among my grandchildren, you know. So in this day and age, in fact, when I was getting married, some of my friends, they were praying that their husbands will not have mothers. So it is a matter of value orientation. What is important for us in this generation? Money has become an issue. Riding big cars has become an issue. So, and we watch people do whatever they, in fact, going to school is past becoming old-fashioned. And then if you interact with the Masons, you will find that they are not getting apprentices anymore. Your bricklayer is an old man. Your carpenter is an old man. He doesn't have younger apprentices. So we have a problem of value orientation. And that cuts across every other aspect of our lives. Because you can get married with whatever you have and live your life as planned and move from where you are once you know where you are going. It's not difficult for you to plan with what you have now and move gradually towards where you are going. What was important to us when we were getting married is, who are you inside? Where are you going tomorrow? If you are not going anywhere, sorry, I cannot follow you, because you don't have a goal, you don't have a purpose, then you don't have a direction, and so I cannot follow you. But when you know where you are going, you are living a purpose-driven life. But right now, your income is so and so, your wife to be or whatever is also having this type of income. You can plan your life and move gradually to the type of life, a purpose-driven life. But you see, when you look at the media, you see how people just, they don't spray one something again. They now spray in bundle. And then it's a problem. So it's a problem of value orientation. And it has cut across this decision to get married, what you want to do for a living, and all that. I still appreciate a lot our people are in the academia, who in this generation have chosen to be in research. Okay? And those who are also bridging the gap between the gown and the town. So these are the people who we now begin to correct in our interaction, in our research, in our giving back. We are trying to correct this value orientation. So for me, yeah, it is. They don't want to get married because they don't have money to spray. Because the wife is also expecting that they go for honeymoon in 5 countries and all that. And then on her birthday, she wants her boyfriend to give her a gift of a car. If that is not happening, then that is not the person. That has been happening. So, but that is an outcome of our changed value orientation. And once we place a high value on money without thinking of how to get the money, then there is a problem. There is an imbalance. There is an imbalance. Just like one of our speakers said, these traders, they earn money. You see them in the market. They have, they place their yams, their yam tubers. Maybe they buy 30 today. They've been doing that buying of 30 tubers every day or every other day for years. No bank account, no savings. I interact with them a lot. They do their business for that day. When they are going home, they separate the profit. Then they buy what their children will eat. And tomorrow they are back. That is why Gbomule Lantern is making a lot of money among the traders, because they are not able to keep their capital. So they go to Gbomule Lantern to borrow money. So you can see the value orientation is a problem. We have mixed the Western culture with our culture. The Western culture is not sustainable in our culture. Our own is being disregarded. There is beauty in it when you are able to maintain a balance. There are things to discard in our culture. There are things to discard in the Western culture. If you are able to do that, then we can move forward. I know marriages that people just went to the registry, they got married, they went back to their different places of work, and the marriage is over 50 years old now, producing grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Money was not the issue that time. But now, because of our value orientation, people think money is the issue. It is not the money. Because even if you have the money and you don't even have if you are not compatible, the money will even create greater problem in the family. So I think our youth need to get another fresh orientation to know that, yes, do the needful first, and then you can move on with life. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, That's a detailed one too. Oh, okay, value orientation, reorientation. We have taken that too. It's included in our files. Okay. We are going to be having a bathroom break, and before that, I think Anu is back. So after asking a question, then we have to go on 5-minute break. After which we'll come back and we close. So Anu, are you there? Please respond if you are around.
Yes, ma, I'm here, ma.
Oluwa, okay, you are back. Okay. Reflecting on your upbringing, what
Hello, ma,
key
can you hear me?
family? Hello?
Yes, ma, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Reflecting on your upbringing, Anu Oluwa, what key family values did you learn from your parents or guidance that you will want to transfer to your own children? Thank you.
Ma, thank you so much, ma, for the question. I'd say one of the key values I'd love to transfer to my kids are religious values, basically. They taught me what faith was, and I think this was like one of the strong foundations for me as a child while growing up, while I was in school. I was not able to face certain things. I was not able to relate to certain things that people go through because I had faith. Then there's also resilience, to the ability to keep moving forward even when life gets hard. I've seen my parents work really hard to cater for our needs, and this is something that has kept me going as a young child. And I feel that's something I would love to like instill on my own children. Then there's also hard work and honesty in our home. Every word meant something. Like you have to like be very, very honest. This is one particular value I would say I would like to invite. And also another important one is respect for others, whether regardless of the age, whether the person is young or the person is old. That's one value I feel I'd also love to instill on them. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful one. That's a beautiful one. Like I said, I think when you went on here, I talked about a research I conducted. Religiosity is actually a key factor in any family and in any society, because we noticed that researchers proved that religiosity actually mediated the influences on mental health of children and adolescents, and even propensity to seeking mental health attention. Religiosity actually mediates this, and it's a key one, and it's vital. Just like respect for elders, just like Prof has been mentioning, our culture should be factored in and incorporated into the policies. Is very, very important. They will say if you don't respect elders, then you will not go far. So it's actually important. Thank you very much. At this juncture, I'm going to hand over to the moderator in person of Mr. John Daniel, because there's going to be a break. He's going to inform us what we are going to do at the moment. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We are going to close so soon, but before then, let's have a mental health check-in and fill it up. Mr. John, are you there?
Yes, ma, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So we're at the bedroom break, and I don't know if you can see the mental health check-in on your screen. Can you see it?
I can see it.
All right, so we need everyone to kindly
Hello?
feel.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, you can see it. All right, good. So
Okay,
within the
good.
break, we'll need you to fill this form, and just, I think it's about just 7 questions in all, and we'll be able to get your responses on them. This would be done during the time of the break, while Dr. Mrs. Obi says someone. Are you there? Someone can see it. It's right here.
I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Can everybody see the form? Someone chatted that they
Yes,
cannot
we
see.
can.
All right, thank you. Okay,
I think some people can.
Dr. Bisesoma, I think you can also tell us just very briefly on the importance of health check-in like this. Magdalene can say why
Thank you
we
very
feel
much.
the yes, thank you.
So it's just like we've been deliberating on family policies and all, mental health is very, very important, and some people don't believe in it. Let me give you an instance. There is a friend of mine. She's been complaining of some symptoms, maybe body pains, tiredness, fatigue, all manner. And, they've been giving her drugs over and over and over and over, but she's not recuperating and there were no changes. I just told her, I said, have you done any mental health checkup? She said, mental health, what is mental health? They did all manner of tests for me, typhoid, this, and all. And they found nothing. Could you realize that after she went for mental health checkup, she now realized that she had depression. She had depression, and stress hormones have been released so much that it's now affecting her physical health. So, like psychologists will say, your mental health is your physical health. So at times we always shy away from filling forms regarding mental health, from going to professionals, going to maybe seminars on mental health. Just like thank God, majority of us are learners. So we should actually extend this hand to other people, around there, because some of them are not aware at all, and they feel mental health is not something that is important. Most times, if your mental health is not in place, if you are not well psychologically, then you might not be well physiologically. So let's take it serious. And at this juncture, I want us to quickly do a simple therapy. I want to give us what I call 4-5-4. Is somebody listening to me? Can we just have that done quickly as we are filling the form? So I tagged it 4-5-4. We are going to do breathing technique with meditation. So it's 4-5-4. So now, can you all close your eyes? Close your eyes for 4 seconds. Close your eyes. And as you're closing your eyes, make sure every thought that comes in is discarded. Make sure you're not thinking of anything. You're not thinking of anything. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Then after that, breathe in for 5 seconds. Breathe in for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then breathe out for 4 seconds. Don't forget, it's 4-5-4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we able to achieve this? Can somebody just respond? Let me see. We are going to do another one. No. John, have you done yours? Dr.
Yes.
Toby. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's go.
Not yet.
You're not on it. Okay, let's go the second time. Now close your eyes. Yeah, I'm going to incorporate something called journaling there. Okay, think of fantastic things that have ever happened to you. Yeah, good. You are doing it. Good. Yeah. 4 seconds. We are going 4 seconds now. Fantastic things. Maybe the time you got married, the time you passed your exams and you did not expect it. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. 4 seconds. Close your eyes and think of all this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Open your eyes. Now, breathe in and close your eyes again. Breathe in for 5 seconds and close your eyes. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes, then breathe out. 5 seconds. Sorry, for 4 seconds. Breathe out. That is nice. Now, can you tell me the differences you got, the different reports you got between the first exercise and the second exercise? You know, the first time, you did not think of anything that had happened to you, but the second time, you had thoughts of that. Who can volunteer to just give us his or her experience? I think Victoria is ready to do that. Sorry, Nigeria factor.
Yeah, I think
okay.
I think you just have time to focus at that particular point in time. Like you move away from all forms of distractions.
That's good.
At that time. So that's my experience.
That is good. That's good. Any other person? Is Anulu ready? Dr. Toby, tell us your experience.
Well, I don't know how to describe it, but I think when the second exercise helped me, I got distressed. Distress as in DE stress. I was thinking about a lot what I'm going to be doing after this talk, but then I was calm immediately. I breathed in and I was able to focus on this moment. So it's an exercise in mindfulness for me. Which enhances concentration.
Yes, that is mindfulness.
Yeah, that's the goal. Then any of the participants, please could you tell us your experience? We'd love to hear from you. Please feel free. Feel free. I can see Sati, I can see Okiki Oluwa, Oladayo, Dr. Francis, Oluwatobi, Motolani, Opeyemi, Precious, Rachel. Who is ready, please? Sharon. Sharon, tell us your experience. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, I had some level of calmness. I would follow what Dr. Toby said. I had a lot of things going through my mind, but especially the second one, thinking of my most memorable or happy experience actually just made me to have some level of calmness and hope. Yeah. Thank you.
That's very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lisa. That's the goal. That's the goal. You can actually incorporate that into your files, and it is a sort of take home from today's program. So we go to the concluding part. I'll be asking the last set of questions. I'll be training them to our panelists. So the last question goes to Anu Oluwapo Omalafe. Anu, are you still there? Anu Olua. Okay, let's move to Victoria. Miss Victoria, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
I'm here.
Thank you very much for. Okay, Anu, are you here?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay, the last question is thrown to you. What are your thoughts on plans to reduce impacts of climate change that can impact families negatively? You know, it's part of the agenda. Combat climate change. You know, the forced migration going here and there in Africa. You know, if there are issues with the climate that many people are displaced and other things happen. So, what are your thoughts on plans to reduce this? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the question. I'd say the plans on reducing plastic waste across Africa is one thing I find very, very important in the community. Most of the time we see
I'm sorry. Most of the times we see different people, like in, I'll take Nigeria for instance. We would see people littering around. They don't really care. Like, people don't care about these things, and it's very, very, very harmful to the environment, and it makes the environment quite dirty. So I'd say it's a very, very good initiative when it comes to like implementing this. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, there's a research I actually conducted on that. Many people are not even aware of recycling. They just try to throw everything away and hope. When you tell them, how can you keep your environment clean? Because all these things go back to the climate. When you are talking about climatic issues and hope, but they don't know. So they need to be educated on these. Affecting ozone layer depletion and the next question, and which is the last for you. Can you suggest how entrepreneurship could sustain families in support of poverty eradication? You've been mentioning something along the line, but let's hear from you how you can suggest how an entrepreneurship could sustain families in support of poverty. It's part of the 2020 agenda. How do you think it can help? Apart from the fact that they said they will provide over 100 million employment. So how do you think entrepreneurship will go a long way in sustaining the development in Africa? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think it just goes that we should just dig deep into the roots. We should go back to the drawing board. In Africa, we have good systems on ground before, apart from the one I've been mentioning about the Yoruba women informal traders. We also have the Igbo apprenticeship system. You see that the Igbo apprenticeship system is a very sustainable apprenticeship system, whereby even when they are not your family members, we have been talking about family members before, but now even when they are not family members, when they are working under them, they work for a certain amount of time, and after then, they will give them capital to start their business. That's for Igbo apprenticeship system. And then for the Yoruba informal trade in the Southwest Nigeria, that's where my research is based on. They have their children, they start working with them. And even in that system, that was why I keep emphasizing the fact that informal sector is not informal, it's not disorganized the way so many people may think. So even there, if there is a woman, if there's a mother now that is involved in informal trade, female itinerant trading in my own case now, they encourage their children to be there. They don't need to pay anything for training. And they also belong to organizations. So in the marketplace like that, maybe the person violated the rule or started going to the market when he has not completed apprenticeship. If the person has a mother or a relationship with somebody, that person will not be sanctioned due to the relationship they have. So that is the social embeddedness that is involved in informal trade in African setting. Relationships, cultural norms is still respected. So if that is available in this system, so we just have to encourage it more and more and say they should continue to do. Even apart from the ones that have their children involved in that trade, there are some that their children are educated. They still, in one way or the other, involve their children by saying, oh, when you have money, bring it, we help you to buy something, then you sell it, then they'll give you the profits and we'll be using the money to trade. So the informal sector is still viable. The informal trade is still viable. And in African setting, we have apprenticeship that is viable. It's just that, okay, the policies that would encourage them the more to continue, and also for people that are not too institutionalized, so that these informal training will turn into a formal training, formal apprenticeship, as opposed to informal apprenticeship where they will just do it without no curriculum, and there's no amount of time they need to use. For instance, the Igbo apprenticeship system, some may be there for years before they release them. So the government can look into that, and policy makers as well. Thank you.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. Thank you. I was actually expecting you to say that. You have actually nailed it. You can see what is going on in China. When I was growing up, we used to say, this is China product. I said, fake. But now, see what they have turned us to. Virtually everything we buy is from China. And why? Because they made the entrepreneurship formal. You can see their classrooms. I think if you watch videos on whatever they are doing, you see their classrooms. They are learning one thing or the other, maybe how to make fan, how to make torch, how to make this, how to make that. See what their country becomes as of now, and of which if we see that somebody is making headway in something, see our engineering students. There was a time somebody tried to make an aeroplane. Well, they've killed the idea. I think this has to be incorporated in the policy too. You see, all this entrepreneurship should be encouraged, and it should be incorporated in the curriculum so that at least people will be encouraged and they will actually thrive in that. Thank you very, very much, Victoria. And the last question now goes to Professor Adejuwon. Okay, I'm going to create that question for you. Ma, what do you think will become the results of children and adolescents? Peradventure, these policies are not actualized. They say, okay, combating diseases, combating this, combating that, eradicating poverty. What do you think will become of children and adolescents in the future? Because at times, and even we can also say women, we know what they are really passing through in this country. Do you know that some of them are naive that it's whatever their peers are doing that they are following? They don't have information on so many things to do. So what do you think will be their results in life? Peradventure, these policies are not implemented. Thank you very much, Prof. Oh, Prof is not available.
We are already, thank you very much. We're already seeing the outcome of policies that are even domesticated, that are not followed up. I did a research on tobacco control, and we examined the implementation of the tobacco law. And we found that the implementation is just almost zero. Because in other parts of the world, where you put tobacco to discourage people from using tobacco, they bargain on what percentage of the container should contain the warning. For our own, it's just one sentence. Tobacco smokers are liable to die young. One tiny sentence. In other parts of the world, you can have the warning sign on a whole side or even all the sides. So we have problem with implementation. And when we have problems with implementation, it means that the policies are not effective, they are not implemented, they are not they are not actually being successfully implemented. And when they are not successfully implemented, they are not achieving the purpose for which they were made. And there are so many policies like that in Nigeria that it just ends up somewhere in the ministry and nobody is doing anything on it. And then, unfortunately, this cuts across different family settings. The people that we say they are poor, yeah, they are poor because they don't even know what to do with their children. They are struggling. They are going to market in the morning, 5 a.m. They're already in the market buying their wares, and they don't see their children. Their children go to school, and by evening, the children come back from school. The woman is in the market. The child is at home doing whatever the child wants to do. I meet a lot of women like that in the market. Their children are at home. They're in the market all day. So no supervision, no monitoring, what happens to that type of child that has no supervision and no monitoring? The child is just growing up wild in the society. And for those who are rich, they send their children to schools that they pay in dollars, even in Nigeria. And they hands off as if the children now belong to teachers. So they end up having children that become foreigners in their family because they are detached from their parents. The values of the children become different from the values of the parents because the parents have gone asleep. They have paid school fees, heavy school fees. So the teachers they do everything for them. We listen to the account of that boy that died the other time. He was placed in one school in Lagos from Port Harcourt. The child was sick. The parents wasted time. They didn't come on time. By the time they came, they took public transport to Port Harcourt with a sick child. And then they needed to take permission from their pastor before they would take the child to the hospital. And the child died. So we have problem with, my PhD is on parenting. An aspect of it is parenting cognitive knowledge. What does the parent know on parenting? You are told to get married. So you get married. On the day of marriage, and you begin to pray. In 9 months' time, we'll carry baby. These people that are getting married, what do they know about parenting? How prepared are they? Who is helping them? Who will help them in this journey of parenting that is a lifelong journey? In the Western culture, where they practice individualism is inculcated in the child from the beginning. In the babies, you put your baby and you ensure that this baby begins to do things. You begin to talk to that baby from infancy. From day one, you carry the baby and talk. But our own system is collectivism. But now we have mixed individualism with collectivism, and we have chaotic situation. We are neither practicing collectivism or practicing individualism. The people who are practicing individualism, by the time their children become teenagers, they leave home. They are ready to leave home. They are equipped. Like I'm in Canada right now, a child does not go to proper school until that child is 5 years old. And on day one, the child should be able to write his or her name. Day one, the child should be able to read, do some little small counting, and should be able, the first test is write your name. The child at age 5, you can't write your name, you go back to your parents' house. So they expect you to follow your child. In fact, you must take your child to activities apart from school. So they have a blended in such a way, activities plus academics, in such a way that this child, by the time this child grows to become a teenager, the child knows a lot. In fact, from secondary school, those of them who don't want to go to college, they choose something else that they can do with their hands to earn money, and they are okay. So this is an egalitarian society, but our own is different. So, and we are copying. The policy is meant for all of us, isn't it? Say, you see how it cannot work for us. So, like Victoria said, we should go back to what we know how to do. Each family, give birth to the children you can take care of. Pass your family values to the child. I'm happy about what Anu Oluwapo said. She was able to tell us what she gained as family values from her parents. Now, the elite in our society, they buy phone for their children, and age 8 child will begin to look for pornography and games, and the child is neither here nor there. The child is worldwide while sitting in. So we need to go back. Those who are having children now, who are about to get married in their 30s, they should reflect on how they were brought up. Please pick the things that you find useful from your parents and inculcate it. Don't let it die with you. Pass it to your children. I know certain things that have passed from my mom to me and from me to my children, and it's common among us like that in our family. Among my siblings, we raise our children the same way because of consistency, generational issue. So if children and adolescents are not able to benefit from the policies that we make to eradicate poverty, to improve on the well-being and the mental health, then we have the chaotic situation that we have in Nigeria now, that our teenagers are drug addicts and they are doing a yahoo 419, and they are doing money ritual, and then some of them have joined the people who are doing kidnapping. So that is the situation we have right now, and we need to go back to the family level. In fact, we should go back to doing those things that we used to do in those days. How do you select your partner? Partner selection, that is the beginning of a family. Selecting the right partner for yourself. Either you are a man or a woman. And then in our culture, we believe that a woman is secondary. It should be the one taking care of the children. Please, hello, those of us who are listening, things have changed. Both of you should take care of that child. Now in the hospitals, they allow the husband to witness how the child is born, so that the child becomes, the man also becomes aware of how a child is born, and that forms a little attachment between that. So there is nobody that is born that is born and is taught how to carry child. The men, some men will say, oh, I don't know how to carry baby, it's too soft. Even your wife too has to learn how to carry baby. So please, because of the people who are not married who are listening today, if you want to raise well-balanced children and teenagers, it is participatory. Both the husband and the wife should pass their own family values to their children. It is very important that when your child is well groomed at home, the child becomes, really stable outside, like we have in Anu Oluwapo. Thank you, Anu Oluwapo, for being a wonderful ambassador of your family, and the other lady too. You people, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you very much, Prof. Hello, Prof. Are you done, Ma?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you so much. Yeah, for the.
In fact, you really nailed it too. I thought it falls on families again. So I think I believe our youths are listening. It starts from choosing your partner. Yes, it's very important. Thank you very much for that. I believe it will go a long way in affecting our families positively, because family system supports emotional, social growth, even psychological growth. So if parents themselves are not there, they are not at it, so what will be offered to the children. Such is just such as garbage in, garbage out, as I said earlier on. So I believe they are hearing, and GRC Clinic will embark on so much effort to get this across to the necessary quarters as well. Thank you very much, panelists. You have been so wonderful. You've been so amazing, and we have really benefited from your wealth of experience and knowledge. Thank you very much, and I believe it's not stopping here, it's still going outside here. Now, we are going to have a short time to reflect on what we have learned. My instruction goes to the participants. Please, if you are here with us, please, if you have question and answer, please, let's raise them. Then we want you to give us your take home, maybe like you have actually benefited a word from what our panelists have dished out. You can just let us see your post in the chat, or if you want to talk, we have like 3 minutes for that, as we are trying to draw the curtain for this program. So let's hear from you, our participants. It's time for question and answers and time for reflection. If you have gotten a catchy word or information from what had been dished out, please, let's hear from you. Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody understands? No question and answer? Anyway, from what
can I make some comments? I was waiting on colleagues on the platform who might also have certain comments to make. My own thoughts are very much inclined with Professor Adejuwon's interventions. You know, as she was speaking, she reminded me of I think a psych one was, I can't remember, one of the psych courses in 100 level that I took, developmental psychology, and she was one of my lecturers. And some of the things she said here, but the things she said back then, and I'm talking about over 10 years ago now, and they still, play into my everyday decision making concerning raising my own children. And when she was saying things about the experiences she's seeing in Canada, where young children in preschool have to be taught certain things before they start kindergarten, it reminded me of how my wife and I have been thinking about what are the values we need to inculcate in our daughter before she starts kindergarten formally. We've been doing name writing for God knows how long now, and my daughter still doesn't want to write her name. And I think it's something about the way African children are taught. Yeah. And I'm saying this because some of us are now in the diaspora, and so we might find a little bit of culture shock in terms of raising our children. And it's important we begin to, reflect on our own African values. So, for instance, we always speak our local language to our daughter, even in the house. And so she processes information both in Yoruba and English. And so sometimes when our colleagues ask her to write her name, she's wondering if they want her to write it with the Ami on it or just pronounce it the way they pronounce it. And so sometimes she just call me what you want, but writing it is now complicated for her. And so I learned that early. And I started telling her the meanings of her names, because there are meanings in words. And so even in raising our children in whatever climate, we need to begin to reinforce the meanings of those things that we have been taught, those things we've been that have been communicated to us, for us to be able to transfer it to the coming generation. I wish my parents told me some of the meanings of the things or the significances of the things they were teaching me back then. Maybe I would have taken them more seriously. Many people don't comply with parental guidance because they feel that generation is far removed from our own generation, even in terms of intellectual work. I mean, my mom is a teacher, and because she still teach, and so sometimes I'm asking her, even while I was at home, what does this thing mean? Tell me what you would tell your students. I just say, I don't have to tell you. You're my son. You have to do what I want. And every young child has that tendency to be rebellious, and so as long as I don't know what it means, I don't care to do it. But years later on, I learned some of those things the hard way. And now I'm trying to learn how to communicate the meanings to my own children. So we're looking at family values within multicultural societies, and as researchers, as policymakers, as people interested in working with young people, will be involved in different cultural settings. So we need to pay attention to what are the meanings of those ethics, values, norms that each culture prides itself on. But in all, I really appreciate the contributions of all the panelists, and I personally have a lot of take home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Toby. That's a good one. Family values are very, very vital and germane. Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Do we have any other person who has a take home or question to ask? Okay. Okay. At this juncture, I will have to.
There is a post on the chat. I could read it if you don't mind.
Okay, please.
Magdalene, do you want to read it out yourself? So she says, family values should be passed to children. Parenting is a deliberate and intentional process that fits into society. Let's return to the values embodied in our cultures instead of embracing holistically from foreign cultures. I think that's Magdalene's own takeaway.
Thank you very much. That is the beautiful one. Yes. Prof has been stressing that family values and what Dr. Tobito said, and even our panelists, it goes a long way in improving our culture. Our culture is actually different from theirs. Why are we copying them? And it continues to affect us day in, day out. So I believe with this, we'll have a better society. And if all this can actually be implemented, we all be happy, we're all going to be happy, and our society will be better. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to hand over to the moderator, Mr. John, for the vote of thanks and closing remarks as we draw the curtain program.
Thank you so much, man, for anchoring this. It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
John, for a minute, Dr. Bishop, I mean the man now, not the host, wants to make a contribution. There is a Dr. Bishop wants to make
welcome, sir.
Okay. Dr. Bishop, the floor is yours,
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Every bit of my time is last 1 hour and added values in my life. And I have been so well, I want to corroborate the positions of discussers. Professor and the other participants in that discussion. And one major issue I have is not a question that I want to ask, but a contribution. The problem that we have as a country is that we are neither here nor there. Maybe we don't know where we belong. We have been so indoctrinated into the Western way of life, ignoring our African and culture. And that is not in the family alone. I know a lot of challenges I have when it comes to music, when we are mixing Western harmony, Western melody with African, and at the end of the day, eating, get some assaulted, something like that. I don't want to waste our time. But I think the policymakers have a lot of things to do. This time around, let them now come back to the status quo, that is looking at the local context rather than building the Western policy on the African way of life, which cannot work. It cannot work.
Dr. Bishop, we can't hear you well. Breaking.
Sorry, Dr. Obishason, the line is breaking. I don't know if you want to recap or you just want to summarize in the chat. That would be fine, so we don't waste too much time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. It boils down on our culture too. He said it's not limited only to families, but it delves into other areas in the society. And this is actually impairing the growth of the society, which is not good. And the policymakers should also be careful when factoring this. You know, just like I said, Usman that represented us did not represent us well. He did not actually know what is affecting us. Rather, he's talking about what other people are saying, you know, in the last 2015 meeting in preparation for 2030 agenda. Thank you very much, sir, once again. So I invite John Daniel to give us a summary and take home as we the curtain. Thank you, everybody, for your questions.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, man. Please, can we appreciate? I don't know how we would do that, but please, can we appreciate Dr. Mrs. Wumi Obiseson for such an outstanding work she had done with us tonight, for the engagement, for everything. Thank you so much, man. Today's meeting was solid. We had what we looked forward to, intergenerational conversation around families and sustainable development. And for those who did not join on time, the chat has some of the details of the things we spoke about. Professor Grace Adejuwon gave us some powerful insight. Thank you so much, Ma, for the insights into specific values and issues being faced by families in our time. Ms. Victoria Olujimi, in a calm way, gave our own perspective. It was all lined up and definitely effective based on research and quality thought. I would like to encourage everyone to not just listen to these things, but find practical ways of using them. It's the family we are talking about here. So one way or the other, you belong to one, I belong to one, and there are things we can take away. Miss Anolu Akpo told us about one major thing I can remember is the family values. Yeah, that has continued to guide our thoughts, actions, and decisions hitherto. So it is my pleasure to be giving the vote of thanks at this time to our esteemed speakers, our hosts, our distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Has been wonderful. Today's gathering, centered on the family-oriented policies for sustainable development in Africa, has helped us to deepen our appreciation of the roles of the family. All right, so first of all, I would like once again to appreciate our host, Dr. Mrs. Wumi Obiseson, and our panelists, Professor Grace Adejuwon, Victoria Olujimi, and Anolu Akpo Omolafe. Your insightful presentations and thought-provoking discussions has indeed contributed to the thoughts we have today. I had certain people messaging me, reaching out to me as to the insight they were getting from the meeting today. It is always wonderful to have quality meetings like this. It shows that we still have that intergenerational conversation that is policy worthy. So thank you so much for making yourself available. Also, every participant, everyone who connected via Zoom and on YouTube. Special thanks to the organizing committee and the support staff at Graduate Research Clinic, GRC, who are the organizers of this, for your tireless efforts in ensuring the reality and the smooth running of this event. Okay, your commitment has indeed shown and blossomed to the meeting we have today. And I would actually like to use the opportunity to invite everyone on this meeting who is not an existing member of the Graduate Research Clinic. Please, we look forward to having you. This is where you should be. This is where you should be, because at Graduate Research Clinic, we are one of the topmost African nonprofit organizations, and we foster innovative research and collaborations across disciplines, generations, and geographical boundaries. We empower African scholars and professionals, helping you to address complex global challenges and contribute meaningfully to the advancement of African diaspora studies and sustainable development in Africa. And as you have seen today, we have more to offer. Please let me use the opportunity to invite you already for next week's meeting. It is going to be something we're looking at. It's going to be our cultural day. Please come. In fact, I won't wear shirts next week. I will wear my own native too, like my Oga at the top is wearing his full regalia today. So I'm inviting you to come and join us. I would like the link to the organization to be shared in the chat. This would help those who are not part of it to be able to see. You can check us out on LinkedIn. We are doing amazing things, and we want you to be a part of this. We want to also help you in your journey. Are you an undergraduate? Are you a postgraduate student? Are you a PhD student? Are you a professional, a practicing researcher? Thank you so much, sir. The link is already in the chat box. We need you to come and join us and expand what we are doing, and we would equally expand what you are doing. That would be all from my table tonight. Thank you. So for tonight in Nigeria, I know you guys are joining from different parts of the world. So if it's afternoon, good afternoon to you too. So is there anything we want to
No, that's all. Thank you for also hosting. Can we also put it together for the moderator, John, who's been doing a fantastic job, and even though he's been in and out, he's still been following the conversation. Thank you so much, John. Thank you to the team, and we look forward to following up on this conversation. How about from here? Can we just take a screenshot? Let's all put on our videos, and
Okay.
John, if you can do a screenshot so everyone can be captured
All right.
in the gallery view. Let me adjust my female. By the way, this is how I dress by default here. So it's
Wow.
not, I wear my traditional African wear wherever, except even when I have formal presentation. So who am I outside of my cultural identity and my faith?
Please, can we kindly share our screen, our videos? Can you put it on so that we have the screenshot taken?
My
I'm
video
about to.
seems not to be working. I don't
Prof,
know.
man.
The video has refused to
No
function
problem, man.
today. For whatever reason, I don't know.
Okay, I've taken it, sir.
Okay.
Or collaborate, chat, or just catch up with any panelists. It's that time. So feel free to take up the battle. We'll only be closing it until say 7:20. So
Miss Victoria, ma, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. I will actually reach out. I have some very serious questions that you can answer, particularly that Erasmus part. I have questions. Mr. Vincent is laughing. Yes, so I have questions. Yeah, I actually studied history. I studied history, University of Ilorin, first and second degree, but I'm preparing for my PhD, and I want to do something that is very relevant enough to make a change, make impact, like Professor Gray. So I would definitely reach out to you.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I will. And to Prof too, I will reach out. I'll reach out on. Yes, I will.
Please,
Thank you so much, man.
let's do research in such a way that we become consultants in impacting the society and causing serious changes in our society. You know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, when we address our problems in our own problems in our research, we are able to provide solution that is relevant to us. Relevant to us, yes. For me, I'm tired of all these foreign solutions.